on in Planet Fitness. Um, I'm gonna tell you when I first got started. This is when stuff started going down. One day we had a member had a scuffle with a employee. I guess they were having a little beef going on, and things just happened to go down. So the member confronted the employee first, and I guess he swung on him, and then the employee was defending himself, and then eventually we had to call the cops, and the cops had to talk to the member, and then the cops had to talk to the employee to get both sides, but nobody got arrested, but we did have to ban that member and two other people, and they could just never come back ever again. Um, but yeah, it's just that's what went down. And this guy, like one of the members, he would always joke around too much. Like, he was always all over the place. So it was kind of good that he can't come back ever again. But yeah, that's one story. Now another story is where this homeless lady, she comes in, she literally sleeps literally at the gym in the parking lot. Her car is filled up with trash to the brim. I think the only space that's in her car is her driver's seat. She literally has fast food, plastic bags. She has cups. It's just trash all year round. I got hired in the summertime, and it's been going through the whole December where she literally just has nothing but straight trash in her car. So she smells literally like I can't even describe it in a nice way. That's how bad she smells. So her smells travel when she walks. And it's just like she showers every day, but she still manages to smell like who who knows what. You know, she walks in, people will literally break their neck, and it literally smells so bad. I think one time I had ate breakfast and she smelled so bad that I almost threw up, and I don't throw up. It's just that's how bad she smelled like. And then we had this one incident where she keeps pooping on the floor, on the locker room floor, and literally leaving it for somebody else to clean it. And it's just like that's not allowed. That's a part of our policy. It's not sanitary for us. It's not sanitary for the members that are, having to look at that. So we told her once that she couldn't do it again. She did it a second time, we told her again. She did it the third time. This is when we put our foot down and told her that, hey, you cannot do that anymore because, we just, like, I literally had to tell her, like, hey, your membership has been revoked. You can go to the other gym at the other place nearby, but you can no longer come here anymore. And she started giving me a sob story, like, oh, I'm sick. They already told me that, but I was like, she gave me a sob story. I was like, miss, you have to leave or I'm going to call the cops. I think once I told her that her membership was revoked, she was so shocked. She was like, and it's like once I said the cops, that's when she was like, oh, I'm not going to be combative. She just literally left on her own, which is good. So I didn't have to call the cops for that. But it's just like, it's just self-explanatory. One time when I was around the summertime, there was this guy that would come in and he would hang out in the corner. We have a corner where you can go, sign up for a membership, wait for your ride outside. You could be on your phone for a bit, your laptop. It's like a little, get-together area. We have that area. This person would literally come there. Guarantee you not even work out. He would have a membership, use it. He would buy a drink, and then he would stay in the corner. But it was like he was watching basketball games, and he would literally scream out loud, like as if he was at home. And I hated Mondays and Tuesdays specifically because it was just so loud and obnoxious that I would tell the manager, like, yo, this guy is very loud and obnoxious. And it's like, I didn't want to confront the guy because I felt like he was just a crash out. So, and long and behold, he was a crash out. So, one time he started bringing in the bat, with his book bag. And it's like, you're not allowed to bring a bat to the gym. You don't know what's going on in their mind. He could be crazy, So we wrote notes on his account. He has so many notes on his account. I don't understand why didn't they just ban his account already. He has so many notes about bats, about just being rude and obnoxious. And we told him there was this girl that was working on the clock, overnight shift, like a 10 p.m. to like 5 a.m. in the morning. So he came in with a bat. and she confronted him, saying, "Hey, you're not allowed with a bat." This guy literally threw a Gatorade bottle at her, hitting her, obviously. She was so mad and frustrated. She wanted to like literally hit him back with it, but obviously that's not allowed because you'll get fired for like, defending yourself at work or whatever the case may be. But it was just ridiculous. Like, and there was other people holding her back from trying to do something to him because they were both crazy. So he ended up getting banned, and he was no longer here, and it's just ridiculous. I had this one guy in a wheelchair. He would come in just blasting music, like I thought it was just gonna be in the locker room, so I let it slide a little bit. But technically, you're not supposed to have loud music at all. This is not your house. This is a gym. So he would blast it so much to the point where it's like I heard it. Other people have headphones on, so it's like not a lot of people are gonna complain about it, but me, because I couldn't have headphones on. I was in the front. I'm front desk, so I confronted him about it. I say, "Hey, turn off your music. It's too loud." He goes, "Oh, I can't turn it off. You won't let me sleep here, so why I need the music to keep me awake." So he started giving me excuses. So I let him be. So I go in the group chat. I say, "Hey, there's this guy who's making so much noise with the music. What should I do?" I said, "Do I call the cops?" Someone said, "Do what you think is right." So that's what I do. Call the cops, and the cops come, get him escorted out. He's arguing with the cops as they're right there. And I'm looking at this guy like, yo, are you serious? You literally arguing with the police? They could literally arrest you and have you go to jail for not leaving. So eventually he left on his own, and then that's pretty much it. So we had this one old lady. She was literally old. Like, she couldn't even work out. Like, she was like maybe in her 70s. So one time it was like an overnight shift from 10 to like 6. And she would have her, in front of the locker room doors. She was standing right there, well, sitting there, but she would charge her phone in the walkway. So I told her specifically, like, "Hey, you can't sleep here, and you can't charge your phone here." So she's arguing with me. I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not sleeping." Mind you, we're watching her on the cameras sleeping there. So she's arguing with me, "Oh, I'm not sleeping here. I'm not sleeping here." I'm like, "Yeah, you could move to the front and do that in the front." So I was nice about it. I gave her the option to, but she just kept being combative. She just kept giving attitude. She's like, "I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna listen." So I'm like, "Okay." So we call the cops. So the cops come like 35 minutes later, and literally as soon as the cops came, guess what? It didn't take no long for her to just walk. She wheeled herself out instantly, and then that was it. She just didn't bother, and we ended up revoking her account because it was like there was no use for her even being here anyway, because literally she didn't do anything. All she did was just cause a ruckus, cause attitude, you know. And it's just like, what's the point of doing this? Like, but one time we had this member. She literally signed up for a membership, and she was using a treadmill for the first time, literally. And I guess she was on the treadmill for about 20 minutes. She started doing the treadmill as normal, and I guess she misslipped on the treadmill, and the treadmill literally flew her to the back wall, and literally she hit her head. She ended up bleeding in her head a bit. We had to call the ambulance for her, and then we had a couple of nurses in the gym, thankfully. And then my manager, she sprung into action. She literally hopped over and started running to her, gave her first aid kit and everything. Me, when I first seen that, I was so in shock. Like, I couldn't even move. I was just like frozen. I was new. I wasn't trained for this specifically. I didn't think stuff like this would happen at a gym. So I didn't know what to do. I was just like, and my manager was like, "Oh, you saw that happen. You didn't do anything." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm not certified to help anybody, you know." Obviously, they give us like, certified for CPR and stuff like that. But I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. But we had this one incident where this lady, she was on a treadmill again, a different lady. She has random seizures just at random times. So she was literally on the treadmill as normal. I'm watching the camera footage. She's literally there for like 15, 20 minutes on the treadmill, and she just has a whole seizure on the treadmill. And like the treadmill threw her, on the floor. And it's just like, God damn, like, but it was just so scary to see like what happened on the cameras. Like, she's just walking as normal, and then next thing you know, boom, on the treadmill. It's just like crazy. We had an incident where, the summer teen pass, where they allow teens to work out for free. This kid wearing Crocs. literally hurt himself on the treadmill because he had on Crocs. They're not stable enough for him. I guess he was acting up on the treadmill. He ended up hurting himself. So we had to reinforce, like, hey, you cannot have Crocs around this time, or else you cannot work out. And people were getting frustrated just with that rule alone. But it's just ridiculous. Like, people are not safe at the gym. Like, they don't, the people play too much. There was this one guy. He's like a Jamaican guy. He's always doing some weird stuff, like on the pull-up bars. Like, it's like a multi-universe machine where you could do pull-ups, you could do dips, you could do you know curl bars and stuff like that. Multiple attachments. He'll literally be on top of the thing, doing weird stuff. It's like a lot of people do so many weird workouts. There was this one time where this guy, Indian guy, he put his bare feet on the leg press, and I'm looking at him like, yo, are you serious? You know how unsanitary that is to put your bare feet on a leg press? And not only that, he's maxing out the whole weight on the leg press. It's like, yo, what are you training for? If you have to literally do all that, like, that makes no sense. Like, I literally showed everybody in the group chat. I showed everybody. Everybody thought that that person was crazy. Like, you come from outside, you're wearing shoes. Everybody's, like, what? I was just so confused, bro. And it's like, people, they complain about, like, just everything. Like, there's no, we didn't have TVs for 3 weeks, so people started complaining. It was only one group of people that was complaining, and it was only the people that were retired. Like, all the old people, they were complaining about TVs. Hey, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. They were the only group that were complaining about the TVs. It was to the point where you would get mad because it's like, we hear it already. Like, we already know this, But it's just it's ridiculous at the gym sometimes. Like, you really got to think, like, you got to make sure that your safety is, like, the number one priority. Like, because people are crazy. I remember this one incident where somebody, I guess, was upset at one of the managers, and the guy literally beat up the manager to the point where his nose was broken. He was out for like almost a week and a half, and like when I saw him, like, he didn't look good. Like, he felt like he was okay, but like he didn't look good. Like, his face, his whole energy was not off. Like, he was trying to be good for the sake of that he had to work. But like, imagine getting beat up at work, at gym. Like, different gyms have their own issues, but like, you really got to be safe when you're working at a Planet Fitness. Like, it's literally no joke at a Planet Fitness. You have homeless people that smell. You have people that just want to work out weird. The people that are just playing around in the gym. It's like the gyms are not clean because people just throw their trash everywhere because I guess they have employees that pick up after, the people that don't want to pick up after themselves. And it's just like, yo, there was this one time where this guy barged into another guy's shower. And it's like, why would you do that? Like if you want that, like, go to somebody who's interested. Like, why would you just barge in? And it's just like, it's like some simple things that could just be avoided. It's like, and he complained to us, and he never came back to our gym ever again. And the guy that was barging into the shower, he literally left running sus and tried to run. We can't even ban him because he's doing sus stuff. And it's just like, yo, what's going on? Like, are you serious? It's just like, and then you'll walk into the locker room, there'll be some old guy, he's bare naked. It's like, mind you, we have changing rooms for people that literally, yes, we only have three changing rooms, but it's like they're bare naked in there. It's like, nobody wants to see that, bro. And it's like, I had to see like guys that, like, they're old, and it's like nobody, it's like you think like, what's up with their minds, bro? You have guys that just throw trash on the locker room floor. All they do is poop in there. It's just like you're smelling bad smells in the locker room. It's just like, it's so disgusting in there. It's so unsanitary in the locker room. Like, it's crazy. But there's some stuff that went down in Planet Fitness. But clips go viral on social media because people doing the most weird workouts. They have the most weirdest people that crash out all the time. Those go viral. But this gym is ridiculous. Like, and when I tell people like what goes on in this gym, they look at me with such a surprised face. Like, ew, like, that happened? They'd be like, yes, like, this is who I work for. Like, and I always tell people, like, if it gets too overwhelming, like, it's just like, it gets to a point where it's like, you just can't do it anymore. Like, but this gym is like, I don't know, it's iffy. Like, we haven't had anything major happen in the last couple of months, but it's like we got to prepare ourselves for January because that's everybody's New Year's resolution. It's like then the gyms are gonna be busy, and it's just like we gotta really watch out for these weirdos that come in because always somebody who's either homeless or somebody just causing trouble for no reason at all. But thank you for watching this video. This is all the weird stuff that's at least happened that I could describe at Planet Fitness. I had to call the cops like twice, but it's never a fun thing because then you have to write a police report about it, and then that gets logged into the manager book, and it's just like it's a bad look on us, But thank you for watching and have a good day. I appreciate you. And I forgot to add this, but we also had an incident where this guy was caught recording a girl while working out. She caught him first, and she came to us and said that this guy who's old, he looked like he's almost 55, recording her. She's about like 21, and she came to the front. She was very scared. She was very nervous. She's such a sweetheart. Like, she's very nice. Like, she looked like she says hi to us. Obviously she don't talk to us, but like she says hi, she says bye, she works out, she just doesn't cause any trouble, and she came to us, and then we checked the cameras. It's clear as day in 4K that the guy is literally recording her. So now it's like the next time my shift comes, the next day, I have to go watch him while he's working out to see if he's actually doing it, because it's like you can't even work out in peace without a guy recording you. And it's just like, yo, are you serious? Like, and mind you, like, it's not that serious to just record somebody. Like how would you feel if I have to watch you every single time you work out because you're recording somebody? Like it's just like, you know, like just work out. It's like we get so many weird people that come to this gym. It's just ridiculous. Like, but I think that's like happened recently. It's just like, yo, you know. But that's like the only stories I have for Planet Fitness, and there's probably gonna be more to come. So thank you for watching and have a good day.